Welcome back to Cruisin' Pig Thrifts. Welcome back. We are currently in our estate room. Is that what they say? Stateroom, not estate room. Stateroom. And we are on the last day of our cruise. And so we're in the inside passage. And we don't have any excursions to go to or to go off land. So we thought we would make a video of our 5 things that we learned on this cruise as first-time cruisers to Alaska. And of course, the note I have is over here. Jenny is going to join me. This is Jenny.
They know who I am.
They know who you are. Jenny's brain space. Let me adjust this a little bit. We moved you up. You're sitting on a box of Pokemon cookies. We're going to start over. I felt like it was just like
those like hip hop beat, hip hop videos when it's like angled down. And I don't know.
All right, so number 5. These are 5 things. Number 5.
We can both do it. We have 10 things.
There'll be like 15, 20 million things. That was just 5 things. 5 things we learned on our first cruise to Alaska. Well, basically our first cruise.
Yeah.
I think. Bring anti-nausea aids. So I have bands, we call them barf bands in our house, that go on the acupressure points of my wrist. And for the most part, they work really well.
On airplanes.
Yes, on airplanes and in cars. And before we took this trip, the whole family was a little worried that I was going to be really sick.
Because she kind of has a history of getting motion sickness.
And it was, and I can feel it coming back on the inside passage. And we were on the inside passage the second day, and I got really sick. We won't go into all the information, but you get the idea. So our stateroom attendant suggested I go down to medical, and they can give me anti-nausea pills. And we went down there.
But it wasn't open. Turns out they have a specific time.
They have specific times for the clinic, but then they said if you need anti-nausea pills, go up to the deck 4 to
guest services.
Thank you, guest services. And so I went there, and they happily gave me some pills.
And for her, they worked perfectly.
They did, and I took 2 the first day, and then after that, they come in little packs of 2.
Exit out the first one she took, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah, I exited out the first group.
I don't know.
That's a good way of putting it. So then I took 2 the very first day, but after that, they come in packs of 2. I only had to take 1, and that was fine with me.
It was kind of funny because at first they thought I needed it.
Yeah. And then if you're under 16, 15 or 16, I guess they can't give them to you or something. So I was like, no. She's fine. It's all me. So I would definitely bring, and I saw some people wear like they have a little sticker behind their, like a Band-Aid around behind their ear. That's probably another anti-nausea thing. So maybe I would try that next time. But those pills worked fine for me. I would want to bring my own.
They last a long time.
Yeah, like 10 to 12 hours.
So that's good for her.
I would just bring my own next time. But it was nice that they have some on here, and they were free. So number 4. The 4th thing, always have your key card with you. The key card's a little...
We don't worry. We did not accidentally left them.
No, we never did.
This is just a good thing to have in mind.
To remember. So a lot of people wear lanyards, and it has a little clip on it, and they'll wear those around. Because there were a few times I heard people say, we were in the dining room, and a girl had lost her key card. We were coming back from, it must have been Juneau, and a lady was on the bus, and she was like, I can't find my key card, because she didn't have a lanyard. I thought about getting a lanyard, but I thought, no, we'll just be super careful about keeping it.
Besides, she has better pockets than I do, so we should just basically be carrying them.
I was in charge of that because you have to keep your key card with you because that opens and closes your stateroom door. You also have to show it when you are leaving the boat and when you're coming on the boat. And then if you are going to buy extras, like they have Starbucks coffee here, or if you buy specialty drinks, or if you go to the arcade.
Oh, right now, ramen.
We ate at a restaurant, and we had to, I had to give them my card earlier. But like if you're buying, if you're going to the gift shops, you have to buy that. So you do have to have your card. So whenever we leave, you have to have at least 1 card on you to get back in your room.
Yeah, we usually use hers.
Yeah.
And my voice kind of cracked during that.
Let's see. Number 3. The 3rd thing that we learned about first time cruising. Explore the ship and don't worry about walking through other rooms or venues, because if you think about it, the boat, if you're looking at the top, like the boat is like this. So if there's something on the forward, and if you're on the forward part of the boat and you need to get to the aft or the back of the boat, you have to walk through things. And so there were a couple times, and I'm going to insert some footage here, when we went upstairs to eat, and there's the solarium and there's the beauty parlor.
Or cafe, if the thing wasn't open.
Right. But the thing that I'm going to show footage of is that when you come up to it was a solarium and the beauty parlor.
Which is basically a quote-unquote adult pool.
Yes, the solarium is where the adult pool is.
Sorry, my voice is blocking up.
There were little kids there sometimes. But you see the sign and you're like, beauty salon solarium, you're like, oh, we can't go in there, but you can.
You kind of have to, because everything walks through. Because to get to the cinema, which I've been through, you have to go through the casino every time.
Yeah, so you have to walk through the casino to get to the cinema or the theater. So don't be afraid of walking through, and it's clearly labeled if you're not allowed, authorized personnel.
Yeah, that's different. I think if I think it doesn't matter if you have to go through to get to some specific places.
No, because they never were like, no kids,
This is adult.
You just have to
walk. Adult area ahead.
Yeah, adult area ahead.
That's all it said.
But we were just walking.
I just kind of looked down the whole time.
Yeah, but we were just walking through, and they're very open about, you can walk around. The first day we walked around, but it's our first time on the boat. We didn't really get to know landmarks and stuff, but I would say by the third or fourth day we knew that there's a track on deck 12.
Which connects, which is like
on the gym side.
Which circles to the gym side of it.
So if you're walking and you see the track, you're like, oh, the gym's that way. Yeah, the gym's that way, and then we want to go the other way. So the more you're on, obviously, explore more day by day, because then after a while, we learned shortcuts of how to get upstairs to eat and stuff. Number 2.
This is kind of just like for me. Bring iPad for
downtime.
That's like distractions, but downtime, yes.
So we did not bring Jenny's iPad
because it needs Wi-Fi to look up stuff. I need references, and I knew that because I can't even use it when we go to the camper. It just has that like very sensitive use of Wi-Fi, and besides, the Wi-Fi does not work while we're cruising.
But you can buy Wi-Fi that would work. Yeah. But I decided not to do that because I could call Jimmy from land and stuff like that, and I didn't want us to just be sticking to our phones. So, but it would have been nice for her to use. You can still use the drawing app, the Procreate, without Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
So it would have been nice because that's a good outlet for her. She likes to draw and decompress that way. But we got a pad of paper and a pencil, and so
it's so weird drawing on paper for so long.
She had to do old school of drawing. But I would say do bring some things for downtime, because there is downtime.
Yeah, like if you don't want to go to all the activities, which some cost money, I think.
Well, no. Let's see, what costs money? It seems like most of them are free. But I wouldn't say cost money, they're late. Like
they're late, yeah. They're late at night.
Tired. Yeah. 9 o'clock we were tired. But I would just say if you if it's cold out, like today it's cold.
It's like windy. When we were in the ramen place, it was like shake. It was like...
You would want to have something to do while you're just kind of hanging out. In between things, maybe we're waiting to see a movie at 3 o'clock, so we have like an hour to kill. They have TV, but
it's kind of
something
really limited.
To do besides TV. Oh, right. And the number one thing that we learned is don't worry about dress attire nights if you purchased eating in the main dining room. So we bought extra thing where you can choose your own.
My dad did.
Well, Jimmy planned this whole cruise. So Jimmy planned this whole cruise. So I wasn't sure what I said I wanted a window, and I think I said I want to choose like when we could eat. So we went the first night, and it says attire was casual, and we're casual all the time. And so that was very good. It's very fancy. It's very nice. But then the next night it said fancy, and we were seeing everybody walk around because they were getting their pictures taken, and they were fancy. And I told Jenny, I said, we didn't bring any fancy clothes. We're going to show up in t-shirts when everyone's in really nice clothes. And so we didn't go the second night.
And next night was white, and
she had a white shirt,
but it had graphics on it.
And I didn't wear any white.
You don't wear white shirts.
I don't wear. I'm too messy to wear white. And so we didn't go the second night. And then we were just eating up in, it's called the Windjammer. It's a buffet. So we were perfectly fine eating there. But then the second night we saw one of our waiters. He's like, why aren't you coming to the dining room? I said, there's themes. We didn't bring clothes. And he's like, okay. And so then the third night, well, the Wednesday, we were in Juneau and we were going to a salmon bake anyway.
Yeah.
So we would have missed it anyway. But then that night I got there was a voicemail on our phone, and it was the manager, one of the managers. She's like, why aren't you coming? What's
because
wrong?
they were concerned.
I think they were concerned we didn't like somebody, or we weren't treated nicely, or it was a personal
which is good.
thing.
Which is a good thing to ask.
It was very nice of him.
But
to
it wasn't.
reach out.
That wasn't it. It was the clothes.
And I made a point of like saying it was nobody. We really liked our original waiter. We had a table by the window and everything.
The almost got sick from it.
Well, it was the first night, and I was like, oh, I can't look out the window.
Even I was getting a little.
We probably would have gotten used to it. But anyway, the waiters were super nice. So I made a point of, no, it was the clothing. And he said, don't worry about that. And I was like, oh, well, I didn't know. So it worked out. We were able to eat up in the Windjammer a couple nights for Jenny, and she gets some more variety. And then now we're eating, this is our, tonight is the last night. So it's, I think, our third night in a row eating downstairs. Mm-hmm. And it is super fancy. It is nice because you are pampered, and they put your napkin on for you and stuff. But I would say in the future, they don't want you showing up in your sweat, your gym clothes, your bathing suit. But if you're wearing your t-shirt and pants,
like normal clothes,
it's okay.
Yeah.
And we actually like our new table because we're tucked behind a pole.
We're
against a wall. We're kind of tucked around. People watch. Yeah, we're hidden by people. So it all worked out, and everyone was super nice. And when we came back, they're like, "Thank you for coming back." So I would say that's our number one thing. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And if you want to bring fancy clothes, bring fancy clothes. But we're just not fancy people. So those are our 5 things that we learned about first time cruising to Alaska, but first time cruising in general. And we hope you enjoyed it. Here, I'm going to give you another look at the view here. It's kind of a bright day here. See, I'm turning you around.
It's bright, but very, 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 very windy.
There you can kind of see. Focus in on the water there. Jenny and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see ya!